MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by The Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. All right, what's going on? What's going on? How we doing? Hope everybody had a good weekend. It's pretty uneventful start to this week. Not a lot of volume out there, but it is a rollover week, so we are starting to see some volume roll over to contract month U. So that's part of the reason, but still overall, I feel like the volume is kind of low, along with the volatility for NQ. Let me bring this up while we go over this pre-market stuff. This pre-market awareness. So the other indices, in relation to their power range, they traveled a bit more. They went up. They lifted supply up to PR plus 2. So there's a little bit more, I guess you could say, in a way, there's a wider range, relative to NQ for the others, but not a lot of movement overnight for NQ, but enough, right? It's still enough to actually, trade, and plenty of opportunities out there. It's just not, what we're used to, I guess. So currently we're holding supply off of the PR high, or inventory off the PR high, supply off of PR plus 1. It was leading into the bell. We are kind of seeing a lift of the supply. And that was following during the London session. Raised the supply to PR plus 1. Peaked above PR plus 1 and dropped back into the neutral zone. Found our inventory at the PR high. Brought supply back to kind of front run that, the previous supply, and then now we're lifting it back to PR plus 1. And we could possibly at this moment be looking at an inventory lift. So it'll be interesting to see how this opens up, see what kind of action we get for A period. We usually don't see a whole lot of volume pre-market, but I mean, even this, for what I'm looking at now, it feels kind of slow compared to what is typical. And also this week we do have FOMC, so in terms of the overall price action, I'm kind of expecting some, and I don't like to speculate that much, but I am kind of expecting to see structure that is kind of indicate that we're kind of overall there's some preparation for the FOMC afternoon on Wednesday. But we'll see what happens. I'm gonna keep an open mind. Anything is possible, and we're open, so I'm gonna lock in and focus on my trading. Again, this is gonna be one of those, I'm not gonna be doing a lot of narration while I'm trading. So during A period, I'll be kind of quiet on the mic. Unless I see something extremely significant that I want to point out. Nice mechanical inventory zone at 600. The kind of price action I was expecting right now is not a whole lot taking place. Got this shot between 632 and 600. Just kind of holding. So nothing surprising here. NQ really hasn't even made an attempt to start trending, and just holding this shop, keeping price mechanical. It did make a quick attempt to lift the supply. Of course, it broke back down into the range, inside the range. But basically, we're just seeing from the wholesale perspective, just making the most out of what's available. We haven't seen it yet. I mean, we're only 15 minutes into the session, to the RTH session. It's a RTH. So there's plenty of time. We can definitely see a trend later on. As of right now, we just range bound. Budgeting, building our position is still kind of maintaining the frequency of last week, just slower. Me, this is not necessarily the best kind of, it's just rare. It's not the best price action structure, everything for my strategy. So right now I'm basically practicing consistency with with low risk on the table. I didn't put a lot of risk on the table today. if I zoom out, I can see this box that we're just holding inside of between 640 and 600. It'll be interesting to see at what point we actually break outside of the box and then what happens. Of course, hindsight is always 20/20, so it looks extremely, easy to take advantage of. But it all depends on what strategy you have. And then if it gets to the point where you see something in hindsight, a lot of times you get triggered to, if you see something in hindsight that gives you, you'll see the opportunities to change kind of your strategy or what you're doing based off of what hindsight capital says. The feelings that are likely to come up for you to change your strategy, or you to do something different, and that's by design. So then you have to make a decision. Do you want to make that change? Do you want to adjust? Or do you want to just stay consistent? And that's a personal decision that you have to make. And I would just say, just for me personally, it's always been better for me in hindsight for me to stay consistent to what I was doing versus trying to make that adjustment based off of what previously happened. Yeah, just rely on my risk management. Yeah, I did see a little bit of volume roll in September. When I open up, I get some data from Thinkorswim, and when I open up Thinkorswim, it already enrolled me over to September. And there was a slightly less volume with compared to June. We are at our 5-minute mark before B period. Got this micro markup phase, lifting the supply, lifting the inventory. Right now, inventory is at 610. Supply at 620. It'll be reasonable to expect a break here soon. Let's see if B-Force gives us a little bit of excitement. We are in B period. Still nothing has changed. I'm basically gonna be done for the day. It's just not a whole lot out there. I switched to sim, so I may take some more practice shots. But I got other things to do today. I got, it's a little bit more better for me to give my attention to versus this slow price action, trying to overstay my welcome. But as of right now, we're starting to drop that inventory, the previous inventory, back down to our main point of 600. Of course, that's going to be a front run of that. We should have plenty of relative liquidity down here. And there, saying the inventory response back to A1. Nice inventory response, bringing us back above A1. We're going to pause at this automation point. So I would say overall it has been mechanical. Now if you're depending on what you're looking at, if you're looking for that mechanical action to happen off of an indicator, possible you could be disappointed this morning, but it just depends on which, because I do have some automation on my 3-minute chart where it's printing to perfectly, almost to the tick. But that's where our inventory is. And if you just so happen to have a strategy, unlikely because I use the number for that indicator that's not used, too often. That I haven't seen anywhere else actually. But if you just so happen, someone has a strategy built off of that, because we are getting responses around that area. So if you're also trading off of that, you could possibly see a lot of good opportunities based on however you have your strategy set up. But again, those options, that's I could go on and on with that because there's just so many different variables that you can create, different scenarios, different setups, all the kind of stuff that you can create with these indicators. To where it's almost limitless. So kind of like I mentioned before, you will get to a point, if you haven't already, where you will feel like changing your strategy, changing something up because of the current market conditions. And in those moments, I've had those moments plenty of times, and it's always been better for me to just stick to what I was doing and just rely on a solid risk management plan. So today just wasn't my day for my strategy. So I would just take my max loss, however I have my risk management plan set up, and then come back the next day when the market is more friendly, the price action is more friendly to the way that I have planned to show up. And it's rarely worked when I tried to make a change intraday, while I'm witnessing price not really favor my strategy. And you start freestyling too much, and a lot of mistakes start to happen. And that's when I usually go back and I look at my trades and I review my trades, and pretty much I'm like, what was I thinking? What was I doing? It's just I realized that I was all over the place. So consistency, all that to say, consistency is definitely one of the most valuable tools to have in your bag when it comes to participating in this environment. Much like a basketball game. Of course, I'm gonna make a lot of basketball references. Got the NBA playoffs going on right now. And if you come into the game with a plan, it's okay to make adjustments, but you want to be careful with those adjustments that you make during the game. Because one of the things you want to do, especially in a sport like basketball, is you want to control the pace. And if you're just constantly trying to make adjustments in game, during the game, that means the other team is controlling the pace and you're trying to keep up with them. And as long as you're trying to keep up with the other team in their pace, you're probably going to lose that game, just unless you have like an extreme talent advantage. But professionally, even those teams that have that talent advantage, they still stick to their overall plan. And they'll go so as far to, once they review all the game tape, once they do all the homework, do the scouting report, they will have their main plan, and then they will have alternative plans that they can go to depending on what the other team does and what the other team shows them. But what they don't want to do, what they usually do not do, is they usually do not start trying to make adjustments just because this other team is doing that, and they're going to just off the fly make a random adjustment based on the other team. So I like to kind of see trading the same way, to where the other team is, for me, is basically the print of the chart. So however the chart is printing, if it's outside of what would be in favor of my strategy, I don't want to just start making a bunch of random changes just because price is doing whatever it's doing. If I don't have a plan for it, I'm just going to stick to what I have. And have inside of my risk management plan measures to know that I can use to know when I need to stop for the day and just come back the next day. And on top of that, I kind of like days like this because it allows me to test the extremes of my strategy and see what. So I'm always thinking about when I develop a strategy. I also think what's the best case scenario. Then I also think what's the worst case scenario. So days like this, especially when it's slow, and the signs were there, so I didn't come to the table with a lot of risk. So it allowed me to really test the limits of the strategy on a day that's, these kind of days are rare for what I've witnessed over the, I think, probably 5+ years that I've been watching NQ. And I've gathered a lot of data in that time. Now we brought inventory back to 588. We got some quick supply points, and we're lifting those supply points back into A1. Getting that supply response off of A1. I did have a mechanical volume area between 600 and 604. Seeing so that's turning into supply, giving us a supply response. And I have an automation level at 592 where inventory is mechanically giving us a response for this temporary slight markup phase. Of course, price is not going to stay here for that long, but that's where we are right now. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and shut things down for today. I appreciate everybody for coming through, everybody for hanging out with me, trading with me, all that good stuff. Hope you have a good rest of your day, a good week. And until next time, trade it easy.